Hey, what's up guys, I'm Praetorian and welcome to Baldur's Gate 3. So in this video, I'm going to be discussing my plans for coverage of the game, because some of the content I'm going to be doing is going to be a little bit different than what I typically do here on the channel. So I will be doing a Let's Play, and I'll talk about that a little bit later, but that first video will be coming out this weekend. So I played through the early access version of the game twice, all the way through it, which is basically the first act of the game. There are several changes in the fully released version of the game from the early access one, but essentially it was act 1 of the total 3 acts, and I played through that twice and I had an absolute blast. Really enjoyed the game, and I've been very much anticipating the full release of Baldur's Gate 3. I'll be doing a playthrough that'll be mostly off camera with this character that you're watching me create right now, and so I'm going to be leaving my recording software on and just recording things that I find interesting, or sections that I think people might be looking up. So for example, might do a video of all the romance scenes of a certain character, or maybe a difficult fight, and just show myself getting through that fight. Just for example, one of the first videos I'm going to be putting up here is from an early section of the game, and it's going to show how to find a really important character. So these will be shorter, more focused videos like that. Some of them will be much like this video, where I record the gameplay and then I talk over it. Other ones will be kind of like a more Let's Play style, where I'm playing as I do the commentary. And then some videos won't have any commentary at all. They'll just show sections of the game and maybe just show like certain cutscenes. Therefore, some of these videos are going to be quite different from my usual content. I've probably only done maybe a handful of videos where I haven't had any commentary on them. So this character that I'm creating is a human sorcerer. As I mentioned, I did 2 playthroughs on early access. The first time I played as a human barbarian. Whenever I play these type of RPGs, I almost always create myself for my first playthrough, and generally trying to play as myself, like do things as I would do them, or somewhat as I would do them. I try to make this first character look like myself as best as I can, and I chose a barbarian because I felt like that class best fit my personality. I know I'm kind of like a scholarly barbarian, but yeah, I really enjoyed my time with that barbarian. And I enjoyed my first playthrough so much that I went ahead and started a second playthrough immediately, this time as a drow sorcerer. And that was kind of my evil playthrough. That's generally what I do for my second one, as I'll do the bad guy playthrough where you're just super evil. And I actually really liked the sorcerer, so much so that when the full game came out here, I decided that I was going to play as a sorcerer rather than as a barbarian. Obviously still playing as the human character here and trying to make him look like me. So you'll see he's bald, as I am very much bald, not by choice of course, genetics. And then also you got that, they'll have that big black beard, which this beard here looks pretty close to mine. This might not have been in early access because I don't recall seeing this beard when I was making my barbarian character, or maybe they had it and just didn't look as good, but I had a different beard with that first character. But this one fits a lot more with mine. I don't have the little 2 little braids there. But yeah, the rest of it looks pretty close to mine. I was even able to, put a little bit of grays in there, which I do have some grays in my beard, if you guys recall from my last vlog. I know it was a long time ago since I've done one. Now in BG3, you can't really customize the face much, which I actually really like. I would prefer that they had a few more options for the face, but I really don't like that part of character customization, where you gotta pick a nose and your ears and your mouth. It just takes too long, and your character usually doesn't look the way you want them to. I find myself in those type of playthroughs, I'll be looking at my character in the cutscenes and just not liking them, and then you want to go in and change them and restart the game. I generally don't, because I just don't have time to do all that, but I just find myself not happy with the character that I end up creating, and it never really looks quite like you anyways, or at least I have difficulty with it, and most importantly, it just takes too long as you look at every single nose of like 10, 20 different options, or if you got the sliders and you're trying to move it around to get that perfect face or that perfect feature. And so yeah, I really don't like those type of character creators. I would prefer where it just gives me a face. I just wish there was a few more options than what they have. But this face isn't too bad. Kind of looks like mine. Of course, I don't have the dragon scales that this character will have because we are going with the Draconic origin for the sorcerer. As you guys know, I also don't have that many ear piercings. I think I just have one ear piercing, and I haven't worn an earring in that ear for years, decades actually, since I was a teenager. And then also with the makeup around the eyes, just felt all that really looked cool for this sorcerer here. The size of the character, really glad that they added that. In early access, they did not have the different body types. You know, you didn't have the third and fourth option where you could make the male or female characters much larger, much more muscular. And for my barbarian character, it just did not fit, having such a small, scrawny guy. Now, in real life, I'm not very tall. I'm average height. I'm 5'9", but I'm a very big guy. I weigh about 230 pounds. I lift weights about 4 times per week, and I have a rather large upper body. And so I do have difficulty relating to a real scrawny character. So I'm glad that they added this in here. It would be nice if the height and the muscularity were 2 different settings, but you know, we can't have everything because again, I'm not the tallest guy. But overall, I feel like this character looks pretty close to the way I look in real life. You know, maybe increase his body fat percentage by a little bit, take the earrings out and all that, and then that's pretty much how I look, guys. Obviously, the face is slightly different, but yeah, I feel pretty happy with the character I was able to create here. I definitely recommend playing as the sorcerer for one of your playthroughs if you're going to play through it multiple times. It's been my favorite class so far, and I've tried about 3 to 4 different classes because I did do a couple little short playthroughs where I just kind of played for a little while and tried out some different classes, but so far this has been my favorite one, the sorcerer. Pretty interesting. I like him a lot better than the wizard. I have not played as the warlock yet, just comparing the main magic classes. Of course, one of your companions is a warlock, but so far out of the 3 main magical classes, of course there's also the druid and the cleric, but if we're just talking about the wizard, the warlock, and the sorcerer, so the sorcerer has been my favorite. I really like some of the abilities they get. So you'll be seeing more of this character as I release these little short videos over the next couple weeks, which again, they'll be just kind of random stuff, anything I find interesting in the game. And so yeah, we'll see more of this character, but now I wanted to move on to discussing the Let's Play that we're going to be starting this weekend. So I originally wasn't planning on doing a Let's Play here on PC. Instead, we're going to wait until the PlayStation 5 version comes out. That releases in September. So the official release is September 6th, but if you pre-order the deluxe edition of the game, then you'll get 72-hour early access to the game, so basically it will release on September 3rd for you. So that's when Jinx and I will be releasing our console series. That's going to be a longer series than anything I do on PC. We should get a lot more views just because it's on the console, and also because it's split screen. Generally the split screen series do a bit better for our channel, since it's kind of the focus of our console content is the multiplayer, and split screen games are much rarer these days than they used to be. Some of you may recall that we did a co-op split screen series with Larian Studios' previous game, which was Divinity Original Sin 2, and so we had a lot of fun with that split screen series. It got kind of crazy, and we were very much looking forward to doing another series like that with Baldur's Gate 3. And so yeah, we still intend to do that series when it releases on the console. However, we were also looking at doing a shorter co-op series here on the PC, just to show how it worked. And what we were going to do is we were going to start the playthrough off camera, so you guys didn't have to watch a bunch of beginnings. I know some of you guys probably already watched content for BG3 on YouTube, and then also if you watch my Let's Play, then you'll be seeing the beginning of the campaign. So we didn't want to have a bunch of videos that all had the beginning sections. And so we're going to play a bit into the game and then just kind of do some random videos. And those would be more Let's Play format, where we just play for 45 minutes, maybe an hour, and just provide a commentary as we enjoyed the game and showed how the co-op works. And so that's what we were actually doing on launch day. We were trying to get the co-op to work, and unfortunately we wasted pretty much the whole day, which is why these videos are a little bit later than I wanted them to be. because we had a lot of difficulties with the split screen. Initially, we were able to get the split screen to work, though we did have a few crashes. So far in single player, I haven't experienced any crashes with the game. But with the split screen, we had multiple crashes in a relatively short amount of time. So it's definitely not as stable as single player is, unfortunately. But then we got off and then tried to get back on a couple hours later, and the game just would not recognize that we had the second controller connected. I don't know what the problem was, because the first time when we got on, we didn't have any issues with it, recognizing the second controller and letting the split screen start up. But yeah, there was a patch. It was like 10 something p.m. When it downloaded for us, and so maybe the patch broke it. I don't know. But ever since that patch, we could not get the split screen to work at all. So basically, we wasted all of launch day messing with the split screen and getting no content out of it. And we're gonna go ahead and cancel any plans on doing co-op for now until a few more patches come. Then maybe we'll do a few videos. I don't know. Honestly, I'm kind of irritated with the whole experience, so I feel like we might need to wait a little while. Maybe we won't even do split screen on PC. We'll just have to see. But essentially, because I was planning on doing those videos, those split screen videos, and now we're not doing them, I decided that I was going to go ahead and do a Let's Play by myself. So I mentioned in the finale for the Jagged Alliance 3 series that I was not going to be doing a regular Let's Play with Baldur's Gate 3 on PC, just because I didn't want to disappoint people when we didn't go that far in the game, because Crusader Kings 3 has an upcoming DLC, Wards and Wardens, and I intend to cover that, and that's only, less than 3 weeks away now, so I didn't want to start that Let's Play and then end it, but I think if I'm just open from the beginning and let everybody know that I don't know how far we're going to play into it, but it's definitely not going to be a full campaign. I mean, keep in mind, Baldur's Gate 3 is like a 100+ hour game, and so it would probably take, I don't know how many videos, depending on how much of a completionist you're being. It'd be over 100 videos, though, for sure. I don't know, 120 videos, 150, it'd be ridiculous. So obviously, that's not going to be a full Let's Play. But I think if I'm open from the beginning, then people can still enjoy it. And, if you don't want to watch a series that's not going to be completed, then you don't have to. But this is a game where there's so many different permutations that can happen. Everything can be so different for each character based on your class, based on your race, and the different decisions you make, all the little dialogue decisions you make, the different directions you go. When you're in camp, even the order that you talk to your companions can change the dialogue of a bit. So maybe one character will be upset because you were talking to some other character, want to know what you're talking to them about. So there's a lot of different permutations in the game, and so therefore I think it's one of those ones that you can enjoy watching, parts of and seeing how things are different, and watching different playthroughs. So we'll see how many views that series gets. Again, I wasn't planning on doing it because of the fact that we weren't going to go that far. But if it's really popular, then maybe I'll go a bit further than intended. Maybe we'll have that series continue going even while I'm covering the CK3 DLC. I don't expect it to do that well, considering the fact that there's a lot of people covering this game, and also I'll be a couple days late from the launch, so that'll probably impact views as well. But I really, really like this game. I've had an absolute blast with it, and so I think I'd really enjoy covering it. Plus, I have that experience from having played the early access version. I had I think like 65 hours in the early access version. It was about like 30 something hours per playthrough. And then I'll also be doing this playthrough here with the human sorcerer character off camera, mostly off camera. So yeah, I've got some experience with the game, and I myself am excited about playing as a different character, a different race, a different class. So yeah, I think it'll be fun, even if it isn't a full series. While I did like Larian's previous game, Divinity Original Sin 2, I had fun with it. I never really latched onto it the same way I did with this one. In fact, I never really got that far past Act 1. I got a little bit into Act 2, and then I just always quit, which was about, maybe 30-something, 40 hours into the game. And I did multiple playthroughs, and yet I just never could get that far. And I think it was, despite me enjoying the game, I never really got into the characters or the story as much as you kind of need to with these really long RPGs to be able to keep playing them, or at least I do. if they don't grab a hold of me enough, then I'll stop playing for a little bit, and then I'll find myself playing something else, and then it'll be too long. Since the last time I played, I can't remember anything that's going on, or what character I'm playing, or even the combat, and so I just never go back to the playthrough. And if I go back to the game, then I feel that urge to restart, which then I do, and then I'm just playing the same sections, beginning sections over and over again. And that's what happened in Divinity. I just kept starting over again, and I started, I think, like 5 playthroughs, 2 in split screen and 3 by myself, and then just, never got even halfway through the game, unfortunately. I just didn't latch onto it, didn't hold on to me the way that Baldur's Gate has. When I got the early access version, I couldn't put it down. I played like 65 hours straight. It was very addicting, and I would have played a lot longer than that if there was more content for the game, because obviously it only had the first act. And I think what I really like about this game is that it reminds me so much of old BioWare games, back when BioWare used to make good games. And of course that makes sense considering the fact that BioWare is the company that made the first 2 Baldur's Gate games. I did not play either of the 2 previous games. I did watch a recap recently on YouTube, kind of covered what happened in the 2 of them. But yeah, the first BioWare game that I played was KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic, the first one. And had a blast with it. Before that, I don't think I'd ever played an RPG. I believe that was the first RPG I ever played. Before that, I always played, action games, sports games, and also strategy games. I've been into strategy for a long time, since I was probably like 9 or 10 years old. But I did not like RPGs. And at that point, I was already an adult. I was in the army, and I had a friend, and he was all talking about this game. He's like, man, I've been just like nerding out on this game, this Star Wars game. He's like, I don't like Star Wars, I don't like RPGs, and yet I can't put this game down. And so I was watching him play, and I just had to try it out for myself. I didn't have an Xbox though, I had a PlayStation 2, but I had a friend in the barracks, and he was always bugging me to switch consoles with him for a little while, because he wanted to play one of the games I had that wasn't on Xbox. I think it was a Grand Theft Auto game, like Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Yeah, I think it was Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. I could be wrong on that one. But yeah, he wanted to play a game on PlayStation, and I always turned him down because, all my games are on the PS2, and I wasn't interested at that point in anything on Xbox. We'd have the Halo parties in the barracks, and everybody would, hook up the consoles where you can have a bunch of people playing Halo. We'd do that, but other than Halo multiplayer, I didn't really have any interest in the Xbox console at that time, but I really wanted to try out this KOTOR game, so I went ahead and switched consoles with him. He did not have Knights of the Republic, so I had to rent it, and so I had it for however long you had to rent it from, the movie store, where you could rent the games and movies. And really have those anymore. I don't think it was Blockbuster, I think it was like a movie store on base. But I rented it for like a week, and obviously that's not anywhere near enough time to get through Knights of the Republic when you got to work and stuff. I guess if you had a whole week off, you could probably get through it, but that's a longer game, and so it wasn't enough time, and I didn't want to keep renting it, so I went ahead and bought the game, a game for console I did not have, and just had an absolute blast with it, played it multiple times, and then I ended up giving him his console back, and just decided to buy an Xbox for myself. And then the second one came out, and that one was not made by BioWare. I think it was made by Obsidian. I actually really liked the second one. I know this is going to be a controversial opinion that most people are not going to agree with, but I like the second one better than the first one. Now, the second one did not have the twist that the first one did. I won't spoil it, even though it's a really old game. But yeah, that twist was really, really good in the first game. But I liked the second one quite a bit. I liked the companions more. I didn't find the story as compelling because it didn't have that twist. And it wasn't such a linear story, I suppose. It wasn't as clear cut. Rather than having the one main villain like you did in the first one that you had to take down, or that you're always working towards taking down, it had like multiple villains, including a surprise one. Again, that twist was not as good as the twist in the first one. But yeah, I just like the companions more, and the gameplay was funner as well, in my opinion. So I know it's kind of controversial, most people would not agree with it, but I did like the second one better, but I had a blast with both of them. And those games opened up the RPG genre for me. Then I played the first Fable game, which was alright, so I didn't like it as much as the BioWare games. And yeah, I played every BioWare game as they came out. I didn't play Jade Empire that much. I played it a little bit. I didn't get into it as much as some of the other games, mostly because I didn't like that you could only have, I think it was just one companion in that one, unlike the other ones. So I always felt like I had to choose. I was constantly having to like choose just one person to bring with me. I did enjoy the combat in that one though. It was pretty fun, but I never completed that one. But yeah, the Dragon Age series, the Mass Effect series, BioWare made some fantastic RPGs, and nobody's really done it like that since. You know, Obsidian makes some pretty good games, and then of course Bethesda makes excellent RPGs, though they're very different from the BioWare ones, and I enjoy all those, but I really miss the old BioWare style of games. They have their new games which just aren't as good. Even like some of the RPGs which were supposed to be of the same kind of format, so like the Dragon Age 2, even Dragon Age Inquisition, you know, they weren't as good as Dragon Age Origins. So Dragon Age 2 was kind of a mess. They did some good things with it, but obviously they didn't have enough time with it and it was rushed. And then Inquisition was an improvement from that, but still didn't reach the high points of Origins. And then, you know, the Mass Effect games were great. Obviously, Mass Effect 3 had that horrible ending that, you know, was very controversial. But, yeah, I had a blast with those games as well. But, yeah, since then, they haven't really done anything that I've enjoyed. I hated the new Mass Effect. I couldn't even play it. Now, it was a mess at launch. But, yeah, I just couldn't get into the characters or the story or anything about it. So, Baldur's Gate is really scratching that itch for a new BioWare game. I feel like Larian has outdone BioWare in many ways, and I'm not saying that it's better than the old BioWare games, but it's certainly better than all the new ones. I haven't played enough to really compare to these older classics that obviously I spent a lot of time with, and so yeah, I wouldn't say just yet that it's better than those games, but maybe once I actually finish a playthrough I can compare them a little bit more evenly. But so far, I'm really loving it. Having a great experience with it, especially the full version, which is quite a bit better than the early access as you expect. There's so many parts that weren't in the early access version. You know, it didn't even have like crafting or the potions. Didn't have a lot of types of items that you can now get and equip on your characters, such as the camp gear. I mean, they got underwear in the game right now, so you get to pick what underwear your character's wearing. Then of course they have the capes as well, and they just didn't have as many items. And then, you know, it was missing a lot of content. You know, it was missing most of the romance scenes and the different companion scenes, and many of the companions weren't even in the game yet. So there's like a tiefling barbarian woman, I can't recall her name, I haven't got her yet in the campaign that I'm doing right now. But yeah, she was somebody you would meet, but you couldn't recruit her yet. Then there was this druid character, which you would meet, and he'd hang out in your camp. But he wasn't a companion yet, but he is a companion in the full game. And then have a couple of the races, like the half-orcs and the, what they call like Dragonborn. I think that's what they're called, the lizard characters. And then they didn't have one of the classes, the monk class. So yeah, I was missing quite a bit of content even in the Act 1, and there's just a notable number of differences in Act 1 from the early access version. So even though I had played through Act 1 twice, I'm still seeing stuff I hadn't seen before and just getting overall much better gameplay, and so it doesn't really feel stale despite the fact that I've already done it a couple times. And also it was difficult in early access doing certain things because you're like, I feel like it doesn't matter because I'm only going to get to play you know, for a little bit longer, particularly when I start getting to the end of Act 1. It starts feeling like what's the point, because, you know, I already know how much content is left and it's not much, and I'm not going to be able to continue the save. But yeah, had a blast with early access, and I'm really enjoying the full version. So we're going to be starting this Let's Play either Saturday or Sunday. I'll get it out as soon as I can. Again, it's not going to be a full playthrough more than likely, unless it just is super successful, but I do not expect for that to happen, given that it's going to be a bit late here. I completely understand if you don't want to watch a Let's Play that you know won't likely be completed, but I think it can still be fun, and I would like to do it here on the channel. So yeah, we're going to be doing that until at least the Wards and Wardens expansion comes out, maybe a little bit after that, you know, depending on how the views are. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And as far as which class and race we're going to be playing as, I haven't actually decided. And if I haven't recorded the video by the point that you guys can comment on this, then feel free to go ahead and leave your suggestions. I have a few things in mind. I kind of want to do something a little bit different from what I've done with my past characters, both when it comes to the race and the class. So yeah, it should be interesting doing something much different, but feel free to leave your guys' suggestions. I hope you guys did enjoy this video, find it helpful, whatever. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it, subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment. Do hope to see you on that Baldur's Gate 3 Let's Play this weekend, and thanks for watching.